Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing awesome. Wade Galt here. For those of y'all who follow the podcast, it's been a little over a year since I've recorded an episode. Had a lot going on, really good stuff, and I want to share with you some insights from that. So, in the last roughly 18 to 20 months, I've been blessed to be involved in coaching my daughter's high school volleyball teams, the indoor volleyball teams, the beach volleyball teams, even created a beach volleyball club. And this was something that is so much a part of who I am as a person, to have family first, to actually enjoy volleyball for those of y'all that follow me. My daughter being involved with that, it's been such an awesome experience. And it was something that was so not planned, but so important that I made it work and have been making it work. Now, what this has done is really challenged a lot of my models, or the best way to say it is made me evolve what I'm doing into a more fluid situation to accommodate what's most important. So I've been working a 3-day weekend, 4-day work week type situation almost about 10 years now. And up until about the last 18 months, I'd settled in at about 32 to 34 hours a week, 4 days a week, most times, and really good rhythm, playing volleyball on Fridays, and kids being in school, all that sort of stuff. Great stuff, enjoying it, very grateful for that. And then this opportunity came up to coach my daughter with her beach volleyball team in high school. And every day, high school practice is roughly at about 2 p.m. And usually we're done by about 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., depending on how involved I am and what's going on. But to put it real simply, 3-day weekends and 4-day work weeks weren't working for that. And so what I had to do was get a little more creative about how I'm doing these things. And I've learned from so many mentors over the years, whether it be Dan Sullivan and his free days, focus days, and buffer days, which is such a great system, whether it's Stefan Arstall and the 5-hour workday and what he found to be successful, whether it's my friend Chad Willardson and his concept of just saying, look, forget about work-life balance and do your best to just make sure you're getting the things that are most important. And each one of these points of view has its merit, and each one of them I believe is not fully complete, mainly because at times certain of these frameworks have worked well for me, and at times being too dogmatic about them has really kicked my butt. So let's kind of start back over at the beginning, if you will. So as those of y'all who followed me know, my focus is on helping you create more impact and income in less time, doing what you do best so you can fully enjoy your family, your friends, your freedom, and your life. Now, if you talk to people who are employees, a 4-day work week / 3-day weekend lifestyle is really something that's so huge for them. And we've worked with that. We've done the work with 4-day week out of New Zealand with Charlotte Lockhart and with that entire organization and Andrew and the work they've done, which is so powerful, which is now hitting different parts of the world. It's now late 2025 and we're hearing announcements in different parts of Europe of countries going to a 4-day work week. So for employees, that's in a lot of ways the gold standard that a lot of them want to have happen. And yet for entrepreneurs, whenever I talk to entrepreneurs about it, I get mixed responses, mainly because each situation is different. Some entrepreneurs say, Wade, you know what? I'm happy working 50, 60 hours a week. I'm loving what I'm doing. I don't have kids that I'm missing out on their life with, or my kids have left the nest. They've graduated high school and they're off in college or off in the real world, whatever you want to call that. And so there's that group. And then there's the other group that says, my kids are in school, so I need that work-life balance, but it's not so much that I need Fridays off. I just want to be working on the days that my kids are in school, and when my kids are off for summer, I won't have time for them. So this begs a very basic question. How dogmatic do we get with this? How rigid do we get with this? And what's the purpose of all of this? And to put it more simply, is it better to have shorter work weeks, shorter days, or hopefully eventually both? And the answer to that's going to depend on your situation. I'm going to suggest you start where you are and start where you can. Look to achieve more results in less time, or at the very least, the same results income-wise in less time, and start freeing things up. Start freeing up your time. Start letting go of the customers that are not your best customers. Start letting go of the tasks that are not your best work. And it might be that you simply start dropping 1 hour per week, as many people do. They'll say, Wade, you know what? Every month, I'm going to drop 1 hour off of my weekly schedule. So it's January, I'm working 40 hours. And then next month, I'm going to work 39, then 38. And in a year, I'll be working 12 less hours per week. That's awesome. And that can be a very simple way to do it. Other people will say, Wade, you know what? I've got these different reasons where I need to have a different flexibility in my schedule. And so I'm going to work shorter days. And this is something that Stefan Aristotle in his book, The 5-Hour Workday, talked about, the idea of so much information and so much research showing that most people don't put in 8 solid hours in a day or 10 solid hours in a day. And Dan Sullivan talks about this in his focus days. He says on a focus day, you're probably going to give about 80% of the time of a normal full work day because humans can only focus for so long. So going back to Stefan Aristotle, he talked about them having a situation where they had 5-hour work days. They put in their absolute best work for 5 hours. And some people had to work a little bit longer, depending if they needed to finish up projects. But the core focus was on getting things done before they even took a lunch break. And I know in my life, that's something that's been serving me so well as I'm now coaching high school sports at around 2 p.m. in some form or fashion. I need to leave my office and I'm in my early 50s. I don't have the energy I used to. So I still need about 9 hours of sleep or 9 hours in bed to get the sleep I need to do this. And so I have about a 6 to 7 hour window to include waking up, doing my meditation, my yoga, eating lunch, eating breakfast, all the different things I do, and getting in 5 hours of good work. And it's taken a while to get used to it. And yet what's so awesome is the constraints have forced me to get more efficient. As Tim Ferriss talks about in his 4-hour work week, when you make yourself fit things into a smaller period of time, or he asked the question, what if you could only work 2 hours a day? What would you spend your time on? And then he goes even more intense. He said, what if you could only work 2 hours a week? What would you spend your time on? And so that has very much served me. So again, I suggest you start where you can and just start reducing your time commitments at work and reinvesting those in things or relationships or activities that are most important to you. And that's a very critical thing. If you don't reinvest the time into a relationship that's important to you, into an activity that's important to you, into a hobby that's important to you, chances are you're not going to honor that commitment. So as quickly as possible, being able to commit to certain things will make you make this real. So in my case, the simple way to do it that I started was playing beach volleyball on Fridays, which led to that natural 4-day work week situation. And even sometimes I'd work in the afternoons after I'd played volleyball in the morning, but allowed me to have this commitment every week. I was meeting my friends, getting exercise, really looking forward to it. And so that allowed for this natural sense of here's how I'm going to do this and here's how it's going to work out. And so that's the first place to start. The second thing, schedule your calendar for your best life. Don't worry about what it has to look like. Don't worry about my model or this person's model or that person's model. Worry about you. Create a life and a schedule that reflects and revolves around what's most important to you, the loved ones in your life, the most critical projects you need to do. Based on the type of work you do, you might have a very different schedule than other people based on what is the peak hour or hours that you get your best work done and you do your absolute highest impact, highest income activities. So don't get caught up in other people's schedules. Really focus on your situation and experiment with it. Every month or so, make some tweaks. Try as best as possible to stick to what you've said you're going to do, that you're committing to yourself, not my model, again, not anybody else's model, but your model, and then see, okay, what worked? What didn't work? What do I need to shift? That has been so helpful. Sometimes you'll be able to choose it all, or sometimes, as I mentioned in my case, you'll have something awesome to do that then makes you choose. You might say, I'm a musician and I got this opportunity now to play these gigs at a certain time of night, and now I've got to shift my day. And maybe I make no money as a musician, but that's a passion for me, Wade. So I'm going to now shift my entrepreneur, my day job, if you will, so that I can play in my band at night. And maybe in 10 years or 20 years, I've now created that window that I can explode my music and my opportunity there, whatever it might be. But again, make it based on your schedule for your absolute best life. Absolutely ignore the critics. Ignore the people that do not have a high impact in your life and or don't have a high income value in your life. So if you think about this from a very simple standpoint, there's that famous quote about the man or the person in the arena and the idea that the critic who sits on the side doing nothing has all these opinions and all these ideas. And if they're done with love, they can be very helpful. They can help somebody say, hey, here's how you can make this better. But for the most part, the critics are the people that aren't doing the work. They're the ones on the outside that point and say, oh, well, that's bad, and that's bad, and that's bad, and you should do it this way, and you should do it that way. And if you say, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm not doing a damn thing. So at the end of the day, those are the people that if you were Taylor Swift, you'd refer to those as the haters. Haters going to hate. And from that perspective, can you keep it simple? And can you keep dialed into, look, this is my journey, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that says, look, I'm trying to live my best life. I'm trying to, if you are, perhaps align with what I believe I'm called to do or what God or the universe has in store for me. I'm trying to do that. I don't have the bandwidth to satisfy every critic, to make every person happy or love me. And God forbid that I would even want to invest the energy to try to do that. Some people are going to love you. Some people are going to hate you. No matter what you do, you might as well live your best life. Or as the saying goes, better your life lived poorly than someone else's life lived well. So again, focus on doing your thing, ignore the critics and the low impact, low income people, whether those be people in your personal life or your professional life. Focus on impact, loved ones, and legacy first, then figure out how to monetize that. Now, that's a statement that a lot of people will say, Wade, that's a very optimistic statement. It's an idealistic statement. And sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you say, Wade, you know what? Right now, I've got something that makes money. It's paying the bills. And I'm being allowed the opportunity to do my awesome work. I'm being allowed to be that coach at night or playing my band at night because I have this very, perhaps even monotonous, predictable income source, and it works. And it's not my soul work, Wade. It's not the reason I was put on the planet, or it doesn't feel like that. But guess what? It pays the bills. So great. Sometimes you can do that, and sometimes that is the path. But overall, as somebody who has more and more focused on what is it that I love and what am I passionate about, knowing that those things lead me to be more likely to do the work, more likely to be great, that's helped me excel in the work I do, make a greater impact on people's lives, and integrated so many of the different things I do as a human being, the spiritual work I do and the spiritual seeking, the psychology, the beach volleyball, the mathematics, the Excel, the business work, all these different things somehow have magically come together in a way that's useful to my clients and people I serve. And so again, focus on making a huge impact in people's lives because that leads to income. Focus on your loved ones because that leads to fulfillment and happiness and joy. And both of those things lead to you being aligned with your legacy. What do you want to leave behind? Not just what do you want people to say about you after you die, but what do you actually want to leave behind? Do you want to leave behind a legacy and a group of people that continue work and do the things that you do? Like when you look at someone like a Zig Ziglar or a Stephen Covey or a Debbie Ford, where there's people continuing their work. And it's high level work, it's high impact work, and it's made such a huge impact on people's lives. And knowing that they build a community of people that are so supportive of that, that the work continues. Income will come. There's ways to monetize things, but first focus on how you can make that impact. And then finally, be flexible and adaptable to change. As I've mentioned, this last 18 to 20 months of my life has been a huge jump. To reference the way Dan Sullivan refers to it, it's been a 10x jump for me. It's been this jump, but it's been a qualitative 10x jump. My business income's gone up about 30%, but the quality of my life and being able to be involved in coaching my daughter's volleyball teams and be more present for my family and be able to be present for my wife, for my son, and go up and visit him at college and all those different things has been so amazing for me. And it's something I didn't plan, and yet it's something that's been such a quantum leap in what I'm doing. And so if I had stayed rigid about, well, no, you know what? I have a 4-day work week and I don't work Fridays, and no matter what, I would have said, gosh, I've got to get all this work done in 20 hours a week, 5 hours a day times 4, and do that right away so that I can make sure that I'm following this sort of almost dogmatic religion I've created that I cannot work on a Friday no matter what, when the intention of it was to have and is to have higher quality life, higher quality connections. And interestingly enough, as time has gone by, I now have reached a point where I'm doing about 20 hours a week of work and about 30 hours a week of coaching volleyball. And the volleyball does not pay a lot. I'm not complaining. I'm very blessed to be able to do what I do. And yet, even in that 20 hours of work, sometimes I'm doing 5 hours a day times 4 days. And sometimes I'm doing that work over 5 days. It's not getting in the way of me playing my beach volleyball with my friends. It's not getting in the way of my family. It's not getting in the way of my commitments. So overall, whether it's shorter weeks or shorter days or both, for me has really been an evolution to be able to first start out with something simple, like a 3-day weekend, 4-day work week, because I needed that simplicity. I needed the structure to say, okay, I'm not working on these days. I am working on these days. I'm going to make it fit. And as I've evolved and as I've grown, it's become easier to be more flexible with it. I hope this serves you. I hope you and your loved ones are doing awesome. If this is the first time you've ever heard one of my podcast episodes, there's 200 plus episodes that are in the podcast already. There's some awesome stuff that I've been able to learn and share. Other guests, other solo episodes I've done to my guests who there's been a break. Sorry, I'll be getting those episodes out soon. It's not been perfect. It's not been everything exactly the way I would design it. And yet it has been in so many ways, so much more abundant and amazing and fulfilling and impactful than I could have ever imagined. So I'm so grateful. You don't hear me mention God a lot in my work because I try not to overburden people with, hey, these are Wade's beliefs, you got to believe them. And yet I got to say, so much of this has been about my faith and being open to working with and seeing how can I live out and be the best child of God that I can be. And that's really served me. So I hope you and your loved ones are doing well. As always, I look forward to helping you create more impact and income in less time, doing what you do best so you can fully enjoy your family, your friends, your freedom, and your life. Thanks for listening. Always let me know what I can do to serve you.